Hey guys, welcome back to Buzzer to Buzzer. All right, guys. So the 15th week of the 2020 NFL season is officially among us, and boy, it's crazy to think the 15th week is already here. That's 2 more weeks of football regular season left. But per the usual, we're going to be going over our top 5 picks for the games coming up. So without any further ado, let's get to it. The first game which we're going to be predicting is going to be the one between the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington football team. Now, Seahawks are currently sitting at a 9-4 record, and the Washington football team, although they're still nameless, they're still got their defense and their game rolling for the past couple games. Guys, since Arian is not here, he has sent us in his pick, and he is going with the Seahawks. I'm going to get started with the B. Your pick.
Yeah, expected. I'm going to go with the Seahawks as well. The Washington football team, they have been doing pretty good. They had that shocking win against the Steelers 2 weeks ago, but and their defense is actually really good, very underrated. But the Seahawks offense is one of the best in the league. Excluding that game against the Giants, we don't really want to talk about that. Last week, I know the Jets are obviously the worst team in the league, but I think Russ is going to cook up a lot of touchdowns. DK is going to do good like usual, and getting Chris Carson back is really going to help us beat the Washington football team.
I think the Seahawks' weaknesses and where they become most fallible this year is against good secondaries. And if you look at all their losses, the Giants, they have a good secondary. If you look at the Rams, they have a good secondary. You look at the Cardinals, they have a good secondary. And, this is a pattern. And Washington football team, they have a very, very good defense. It's going to be up and coming for the next coming years. But their defense is their D-line and their linebackers. Their cornerbacks are quite obviously the worst part. They have Kendall Fuller, but beyond that, they have nothing else. And so to say that this team can beat the Seahawks, who are a very wide receiver heavy team. You don't see this team running the ball that often. Chris Carson did have a lot of touches, but that was probably garbage time running the clock out. And so to evaluate that, you have to take the Seahawks because of who they have. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Swain got in on the action last week too. And so I think they're gonna have an elite passing attack, and the Washington football team won't be able to stop it.
Yeah, exactly, Harsh. You said it perfectly right there. It's a game of an amazing offense against an upcoming defense in the coming years. But that defense is still upcoming. And I feel like the Russell Wilson, like you said, they're going to start cooking it up. The quarterback situation in Washington is still yet to be found. Alex Smith or Dwayne Haskins, they still got to figure all that out. And I feel like that the Seahawks will pull away through this game. All right, guys, now moving on towards the second game, which we're predicting for this week, that being between our hometown team, the Chicago Bears, against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, guys, I think that we can safely say that this is a huge game for the Bears. It is a divisional game, a lot riding. I'm going to start off with our optimistic thoughts for this game.
There's a lot of playoff implications. I think we went over it in the reactions video. And to say that Mitchell Trubisky, with this offense, they've been rolling. They've been putting up 34 points. But the Vikings defense is nowhere near as bad, as I would like to say, as the Texans and Lions. And so to put up 20, 25 points against his defense is something you can expect to do. And so if the offense is rolling at that sort of speed and the defense is able to play like they have been all season, except for maybe that one Lions game, I can see the Bears coming out with a victory here.
Like Harsh said, the Vikings defense is nowhere near as bad as the Texans. And they do have a good offense, honestly. Kirk Cousins, their quarterback, is probably their weakest point right now. They have Dalvin Cook, who's top 3 running backs in the league right now, Adam Thielen. So I'm not sure if the Bears defense can stop that offense, but I think that if the Bears offense isn't as good as it was last week against the Texans, which I don't think it will be, I think the Vikings are going to win this one.
Well, Arian also sent in his pick saying that he's going with the Bears, and I'm going to have to agree right there as well. I like what I saw last week. The Bears were rolling. We had Allen Robinson, that connection was working. David Montgomery was looking like a great running back out there as well. And I'm optimistic for this week. We got a lot of, like Harsh said, a lot of things riding on this game and next week's game against the Jags as well. And if we get this ball rolling this week, I feel like that we're setting up a good foundation for some hopeful playoff chances too. All right, guys, now moving on towards our third game, which we're predicting for this week, that being between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. Now, guys, the Dolphins are sitting at an 8-5 record with Tua leading the way, and the Patriots coming off of a hot win against the Rams, demolishing them last week. Our thoughts on this upcoming game?
I'm gonna have to go with the Dolphins on this one. Bill Belichick, obviously, don't get me wrong, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, if not the greatest coach. And he always finds some way to bounce back after losing a couple games and people doubting him. But against good defenses, we saw how Cam Newton and the entire offense did against the Rams defense. the Dolphins defense is nowhere near as good as the Rams, but they're still a pretty good defense. And honestly, Tua is surprising a lot of people. He's kind of getting the offense rolling. So I think the Dolphins are going to win this one.
So, Abi makes great points. The Miami Dolphins offense is rolling right now, and their defense is pretty good and coming together as a whole. But there's a few questions. Is Mike Gesicki going to play next week? And even if he does play, will he be at full strength? We all know he's the top offensive player that's not Tua on that team right now. And so his absence could make a big impact on how that offense rolls. But then I also want to look at Bill Belichick and the Patriots coaching. All season they've been on and off. They're using the run game. If the run game gets established, they win the game. But I want to talk about their one specific game with the Chargers. The Chargers, statistically, they have a top 10 defense in the league right now. And so to say that they can't get it done against top defenses is not something you can automatically assume. And so this defense, Justin Herbert's a rookie quarterback, and he confused him. And Tua has way less experience than Justin Herbert does, as he's only played 3 or 4 games this year. And so I think Bill Belichick will construct a game plan to stop Tua Tagovailoa from being successful this game, and the Patriots will win.
All right, I got to go with the Dolphins here. And it's mainly because the Dolphins have a much better defense than the New England Patriots. Now, I think a common theme this whole season has been the Dolphins been underestimated and showing up every single game. Now, they've dropped 5, just still won 8, and I got high hopes for them coming into this week. I feel they can pull out the win. Tua Tagovailoa, though a rookie, looking like a veteran out there on the field. He's been playing great, and I got great aspirations for them, and I think that they can win this game out. All right, guys, now moving on towards our 4th game for this week, that being between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, guys, the Eagles last week are coming off of an impressive win with Jalen Hurts leading the pack against the Saints and are coming off with some momentum against an Arizona Cardinals team led with Kyler Murray. Now, guys, Arian is going with the Cardinals for this game, and I'm excited here with a B. Has to say for this game.
Yeah, if everything, like the Cardinals should win this game. And when I say should, I don't think anyone expected them to beat the Saints. But I mean, I think that the only reason they beat the Saints is because they didn't have Drew Brees and they had Taysom Hill, who's I don't even know what kind of position he plays usually. But the Cardinals obviously are one of the best offenses in the league right now, and I don't think that the Eagles defense can beat that at all. And that being said, too, Cardinals defense is great, especially Jalen Hurts. I'm assuming he's going to start against the Cardinals, and I don't know if his inexperience will play a factor in them losing, but I don't think that he's going to have a crazy good game. He might do pretty well, who knows? But yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Cardinals on this one.
I want to draw comparisons here for the Cardinals to how they played last week. This Giants secondary was very good, and they actually managed to stop the Seahawks, who have a very potent. And so for the Cardinals to come out and be more than a one-dimensional team, they played on the defensive side of the ball, and they got the job done on offense. And so looking at this is a team that's trying to build a playoff run together, trying to put it together. And although as a Bears fan, I want them to lose to the Eagles here, it's hard to pick against them because it seems that they've figured everything out, are in a good position to snag the 7th seed.
I'm going to have to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's last week what I saw, it's just why, honestly. Jalen Hurts coming in the driver's seat last week and showing that he has what it takes. Sure, it was without a Drew Brees team, but still beating the Saints, it takes a lot of guts. And, Kyler Murray's been put on a show, but I still have to acknowledge that although last week was quite the game, I feel like the offense is going to get rolling again. And sure, the O-line of the Eagles is still a bit hobbled because of their injuries. I feel like the Eagles can barely pull away. All right, guys, now moving on towards our 5th, and this very well could be the Super Bowl matchup for this upcoming year, that being between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints. Now, guys, the news is hopeful that Drew Brees might be playing this game, and the Chiefs, we already know. Pat Mahomes leading the way. They are 12-1 currently. This is a tough game to pick. Our thoughts?
Although this could be a very likely Super Bowl matchup, I don't think it'll play out to that game that if that game does happen, will play out to be. And that's because Drew Brees is questionable. And even if he is playing, he's going to be coming off an injury, still getting his groove back that he hasn't played in a long time. You have to sort of form like a familiarity on being back on the football field, regardless of how big of a veteran you are. We saw with Tom Brady at the beginning of the year, and he didn't even take any games off. He just, was with a new team and had that COVID break without training camp. And so I truly do believe that the Chiefs, they have it all together. They're the best team in the league, no question. And a Saints team with a sort of hobbled Drew Brees doesn't have a chance against a team like this.
Yeah, especially, I mean, it's even if Drew Brees returns, it's kind of like a bad matchup or as he starts playing. Like right when he returns from injury, I don't think you want to play the best team in the league. And so obviously I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. The Chiefs, like what we've all been saying for this whole year, everything about that team is just perfect. There's no flaws, from their head coach to their wide receivers to obviously Pat Mahomes. Nothing's bad about that team. And we saw what if the Saints don't have Drew Brees, there's zero chance that they could beat the Chiefs. They didn't even beat the Eagles with Taysom Hill, so I don't like. There's no way they could beat the Chiefs. So yeah, I'll go with the Chiefs on this one.
Exactly. Looks like we're having all four in the same team. Arian also said the Chiefs, guys, and I'm also going to say the Chiefs. Now, besides that one loss against the Raiders, which was an anomaly, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, man, that offense is unstoppable. It's like saying KD joined the 73-9 Warriors. Like, this team cannot be stopped. And I feel like that if the Saints do not have Drew Brees, we're about to see a slaughter happen literally by a 20, 30-point lead. But if Drew Brees does come, it could be definitely a close game, but I just trust Patrick Mahomes way too much at this point of the season to rule him out. The Chiefs got this one closed. All right, guys. Well, those are our top 5 picks for this upcoming 15th week of the 2020 NFL season. As always, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below your picks and predictions for this upcoming week as well. Guys, take care. Have a great upcoming holiday season. We'll catch you guys on the next one. See you guys.